A lot of times when we talk about research, our tendency is always to think it's for the big guys. It's not. It really is for everyone. If you've been in business for a while, you understand the fact that the market fluctuates, new competitors come online, products change, services change. You have to be on top of it. Research gives us that pathway to be on top of it, to know what's going on in the marketplace. And sometimes we want to expand our services and add more features to them. And sometimes you may have tried it in the past and it didn't work, but all of a sudden a new opportunity opens up and you can go through this doorway over here instead of the one that was over here. Sometimes it's just a matter of a change with a competitor, change in the moment, change in the time. Why do I need this? I have a business plan all mapped out. It's going okay. I have nothing to worry about. You might make more profit if you just add one more thing to it. You might make more profit if you add a new service, a new product. Carry somebody else's line in your store. Depends how you want to do it. I have a franchise and tell me what to do. Well, sometimes there's things you can do past the scope of the franchise. Yes, they might get some more money off of your idea, except for the fact that you can expand your services overall and maybe give your customer better satisfaction and maybe yourself and maybe more money. Just depends. Instead of just getting by, let's look at how this can apply to you. Help you decide about a new idea, business, product that's going to apply, something that customers will find appealing. You may have a focus group come in and boom, all of a sudden you sit down and they find something, well, what about this? And you never thought about it, even though you spent hours and hours in your business trying to figure out, but all of a sudden this one little comment and your mind starts rolling over here thinking, whoa, there's an opportunity. It can help you make wise product packaging. Like seriously, it just depends on what's out there. So it helps you get an accurate view of the marketplace. Maybe you are not some kind of superhero. Maybe you're like a normal person. Maybe you need to have somebody just come in once in a while and say, hey, here's the reality of the world out there. Pay attention to what your customers need, and maybe you can sit down and satisfy them even more than you do already. It's going to help determine who your customers are. Sometimes we need to step back and we get involved with this customer group, and it really isn't our customer group. Maybe we need to go back and look at our customers. We have A, B, C, and D customers, with the A ones that love everything that we do, and the D ones, there's not a thing we could ever do to make them happy, nothing. Maybe you need to cut them out. Maybe you need to pay attention and better service the A's and the B customers. The B ones who just like your service, they may not love you, but they love the service you provide or the product you sell. And the C ones who are marginal at best, and those D ones, they complain all the time. Maybe it's time to thin the herd of your customers, thinking about the fact that, okay, if I can never satisfy them, why do I bother sitting and listening to them? You know, the 80-20 rule, that 20% sucks up 80% of your time. Maybe focus on those 80% that sit down and love the things that you do and start weeding out some of the customers. It just depends what your business is like, how big your market share is, and who you want to serve, and your profitability level for each one. Find out the why, find out the products. Sometimes people will not share with you what it is they want more unless you have something where you sit down and look them in the eyeball, spend a little time with them, sit down there and listen to their needs without talking. Sometimes that's really a big deal, that currency issue. A new idea. You might have the perfect new product or service, but your customers think, huh? You want me to pay for that? Okay, so before you launch, get the changes to your product or your service before you launch it. See if the new idea is viable. Do you have new ideas? Is there a market for it? Don't guess. Use market research. That kind of is what this class is all about, because it's called market research. Okay, so decide which new ideas will find. The why messages, make a good packaging decision. Sometimes the packaging really sets something off, makes it really incredible. I mean, it's a matter of the packaging to sit down and get memories back into the mind as to this is fabulous, this is what we're all about. Sometimes it's pretty incredible. If you're going to move into a new market, you really need to pay attention to the data you receive from market research, especially if you're going to go into a different culture in a different country. Somebody may take your service and totally love it even more than the market that you're in now. You don't know until you find out, and that's why we do some research on it. Sometimes you'll do something in another culture and it'll deeply offend them, and they will never tell you at all to your face because it's not their culture to be rude like that. they're not Americans. Anyway, so with that, just depends. One might not work here, it might work over here. It just sometimes depends. Research helps uncover the differences and adapt them. Should I expand the same service or product? Should I look at something, well, maybe slightly different? It just depends. What about bundling? Should I add something to your base product? What about options for additional features? What about compatible options? Should I find new partners to leverage my customers and add theirs to my database as well? So it just depends. Long tail, do you want to sit down and have that niche market out there? Really, Amazon, over 50% of all Amazon products are long tail models, that teeny tiny little niche market, and that's what they sell. What about a multi-sided business platform? You start with this one over here, and now you have another thing you add to it, maybe another one. It just depends as to what you want to have in your business platform. What about a compatible franchise? I already have this franchise. What about getting the compatible one? Maybe even add it to your current store, maybe put it next door to your store. It just depends. What about a freemium model? You have a base model for free out there and everything, but if you get this extra service, we'll charge you a little bit more. Maybe try that. Look on the business models that are out there, explore the aspect of what's out. You may also sit down, if you have an opportunity, maybe go look for some more money. It just depends where it's at. Show investors there's a gap in the market and I have the answer, and you might get some funding from it, from the investor. So, but always have the grain of salt rule. Yes, I'm going to say sometimes research isn't everything. Sometimes if you've been in business for a while, sometimes this thing down here, we call it your gut, sometimes it actually is pretty useful. Take research with a grain of salt, especially if you're in a small business. Consider other factors. Trust your gut instincts. It sounds crude, except for the fact that a lot of times the feelings that you get by being in business over a period of time, you can't always identify what's out there, but you have a feeling about it. Sometimes you got to trust your feeling. Pay attention to the data and trust your gut at the same time and see if they're compatible. But don't let your gut overrule logic either. Think about what you want to have. Everyone needs to see their market. Expansion. If you're going to expand, you must do the research, because you may expand in the wrong spot. Good idea, wrong place. A new idea, finding funding. Are you current with what you're selling in your services and your product? What about your customers today? How are they doing? And are you reaching out for future customers? And pay attention to your competitors. All this is a good reason for even the small business to pay a lot of attention to research. It will help you long term and maybe even today. Take care.